Good night, everyone. Tonight, God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma J. Spirit Divine. I'm here to get you some news on tonight. And the title is New Year and New Me. Let's talk about the basis of living in this world to make it better. Excuse me. Ugh. Excuse me, my other set of eyes. Okay, let's talk. Let's look back in the '80s in my time. So there were tough roots in a home. So I will be talking about the principle of these issues, that need attention, to keep our kids active in a positive way. So that way they'll stay out of trouble. That way they won't be trying to hang with no one else to try to be learn anything about guns or none of that. We want to keep the kids active and keep them positive, to keep them out of trouble. So it's too much killing and it have to stop. You know, Four principles, we're gonna look at today. The first is gonna be mindset and mental health. The second one gonna be the program for the younger ones, younger kids. For the summer. When school get out in the summer. This is the time I'm talking about for the kids to be active. In some kind of program to teach them all kind of emotional, teach them everything they need to know. Not only just for school, they need to teach them about life also. You know, uh, Three, the principle of having a job, for teenagers in the summer. Four, bring prayers and Bible back into the school. Now these are four issues we're gonna be talking about today. The first one we're gonna be talking about the mindset and the mental health. Because a lot of that is going on these days. A lot of that is going on these days. Especially last year, we had so much drama, so much stuff went on last year. So many people was experiencing anxiety and mental health. To try to deal with what they had to deal with. Hey, um, there are so many kids that are depressed. And they have anxiety, which causes mental health. And while they're young, you know, they never had it taken care of. And so when they grow up, it's that's why I say the title is mindset and mental health. It stays in their mind. So when they grow up, all they're thinking about, you know, or what happened, or what they're seeing, or what traumatized them, and sometimes they think about hurting someone or either hurting themselves. So we have a lot of that is going on these days. One, we have to pay attention to our kids. We have to catch things while they're young. Pay attention to our kids. What they withdraw, they shadow, they don't want uh be with the other, play with the other kids. They always just sitting alone. They always snapping. You got to pick up on these signs. When you pick up on these signs, you have to pressure them. Or why you depressed? What's going on? What's on your mind? If you constantly keep pressing them and they still don't want to tell you what the problem is, because a child is not depressed on its own, not for nothing. It's a reason. Because first of all, they're too young to be depressed. So as a parent, we have to find out what's the problem, because we have to catch these things while they're young. So when you keep questioning them and you still don't get no answer of why your child is depressed, then it's time to turn it over to a professional, get to professional help. So three, many kids are traumatized, of what they saw, or sometimes horrible things they had experienced, you know, and a lot of times they don't, a lot of time it's so close to comfort or why they're depressed or something that traumatized them and they're too scared and afraid to tell their mother. And then sometimes they wait till they get in their 20s or wait till they get fully grown and tell what happened in the household or what happened around them or whatever the case is. A child is not traumatized on its own. It's something they saw or something happened to them that they had experienced. So we have to look into this and pay attention to this while they're young, and where we can catch a lot of problems and get them professional help. So and if you don't get them help while they're young, that's why we experience so much trouble, with these children as they get grown. You remember the guy that shot his mom, and then he went and killed 19 kids and a teacher. They say he had mental health. And that's why we doing a background check. Who purchased guns. Because nobody with mental health, should be purchasing in a gun. They don't do no background checks. So anybody got money in a credit card, they can buy a gun. But we trying to change all that. This is a new year for new rules and new policy. So five, many mental person are purchasing guns. And they also is going to jail. Just like I had talked about last week. This person had mental illness and mental health problems. He went to jail and he died from starvation. So you have so many, and then a lot of times they're doing things they don't know what they're doing. And that person, like if they think somebody trying to harm them, they're gonna try to either harm themselves or they're gonna try to harm someone else. That's why you're trying to. That's why you're trying to break these rules and have new policies because they need a background check on purchasing these guns. And that's why I'm trying to create something. Because lately it's just been so many mental health is going to jail and purchasing guns. So we trying to catch it while it's young. Catch it while it's young. You have to pay attention if your child is withdrawn. Because a lot of times they will not tell you, volunteer not tell you what happened to them or either what traumatized them. But sometimes it be something that's that it's too close for comfort they don't want to say. So we have to pay attention to these things while we can get them help while they're young. So six, if this don't be taken care of while they're young, that's why they grow up and have their mindset of harming someone or themselves. Always thinking of evenness, because of what they saw or either what happened to them, whatever traumatized them. So and if you see your kids are depressed, get them help while they're young. So they won't harm themselves or harm others. Eight, it all start at home. You have to pay attention to all these symptoms. You know, this help. This will help the mindset and the mental health in the long run. So that's the issue of a mindset and a mental health. So two, we're gonna talk about the program for young kids for the summer. So when they get out of school in the summertime, they have so much free time on their hands. So we want to keep them out of trouble. We want to keep them active and keep them positive of doing good things and not evil things. So keep them. And also want to keep them active and positive away from guns. A program. For the kids in the summer. Teach them. What they want to be in life. What their future holds. And you tell them to write it down. Tell them to write it down what they want to be. So and sometimes they can put their future down in art. They can put their future down in art, or what they want to be, what they want to do, how they want to do it. So have them to write these things down, and it also will be a guideline of their life. If they write that down, it'll be in their mind of what they want to be. So B, teach them that life is not what you see right now. Because we have so much crime, so much shooting, we have so much going on, but we still have to have our kids to be focused to get their education. So we got to, so many kids are afraid right now. And they might be afraid of police, so we have to get them in a place of comfort because all police is not bad. We have police here to help and save the nation. So we have to comfort them and you have to guide them. Guide them because they still have to have the education. A lot of them scared to even be in the school for what had happened in the school. You know, so we have to guide them in life. Teach them life. It's not what you see right now. Many kids are afraid of the killing and the crime, and it's all in the school. This is last year. It's the first time I ever had heard of so much crime like that in the school. So D, we have to find ways to comfort our kids in a time like this. You know, uh, we have to with the experience. It's going on right now. These kids witness. A lot of these kids had got killed in that school. They witnessed that. That still traumatized these kids, the ones that survived. Because they witnessed their friends, their classmates, getting killed in the teacher. So you have to comfort them. You have to show them, that we love them, at home. We have to comfort them in a way that they still have to focus on their education. And you have to let them know, you have to teach them that all cops is not bad. Cops is here, for to protect and save us. So hey, E, there are good minds out here in the world. There are good minds. Sometimes your kids, you can teach your kids everything. Good, right? You can teach your kids everything. That don't mean you're a bad mother when they're straight away. Because sometimes it's the company that the kids will be in and will teach them bad habits. Teach them, you could teach them all the good stuff. But they'll get hooked up and that person be their best friend. But then you notice your kids will always be with the opposite of what you taught them in life. So we have to realize, a lot of us are good parents, but sometimes your kids are stray away with other people that have bad habits. you know so um so the next one, this the purpose this is the purpose of the program. you know Teaching them good, teaching them in a good environment, teaching them to be positive, comforting them in a way that some of them are frightened, because the killing is being in the school, keeping them away from the guns, try to teach them, to be away from bad people, you could teach them everything, but teach them to know who is good and who is bad, not to be in their company, to teach them not to get hold to guns. That guns are bad. Guns is really not bad. It's the people that put their hands on the trigger. So you got to teach them to stay away from guns. Gun is not the way out. Gun is not the way to solve any problem. So that's what the things we have to teach our kids. Their life can be in art. They can write their future down in art. They can draw it in art, or they can write their future down on paper. So it will be a guideline to their life. Teach the good and the positive. Of things in life to offer. Teach them the mindset. Because you have so much of stuff is going on out here. So, we have to really teach these kids. We have to really show them love. Because time is so different right now. So now the third one we're going to talk about, the principle of having a job for a teenager in the summer. Now, we talking about the summertime now, when the kids is out. We're trying to keep their mind positive, on the good things and stray them away from guns or drugs or any kind of light that's going to affect them or finish up their education. So one, not only, when you have a job, it's not only to shop. but to know the principle of what you should do with your earning. Because this is the guideline to help you when you get grown and have your own place. You'll know the principle of what you're supposed to do with your money. So be write a list down. Write a list down of what you have to do when you get paid. You know, so, write a list down of what you have to pay. You know, that way, you being organized as you're young, and so when you get older, you'll know how to keep everything in order and know what has to be paid. So see, think about your mom. You know, your mom has to pay for your uniform. She had to pay for your shoes. She had to pay for all your school supplies. So when you have your little summer job, when you write your little list down, think about what your mom had to do, and take on some of your money and buy your own school supplies and pay for your own expenses because most of y'all have your own cell phone and everything. Think about how your mom is paying for all your bills, all your school stuff. Your mama paying for your uniform, your shoes, your school supplies, your cell phone. So when you have your little summer job, this program is teaching you responsibility. And you write your list down what you have to pay, and whatever you have left, then you go shopping, get your nails done, get your little hair done. But the responsibility of teaching you responsibility. For when you get your own place, you'll know. Okay, I'm gonna write my list down, all my bills I have to do for the month. I'm gonna pay this, and wherever I have left, then you go get your hair done, you get your nails done, you go to the store buy your steak and potato and all this kind of stuff. That's the principle of you having a job, to know what you're supposed to do when you get paid. It's not all about you shopping. You have to learn how to be responsible for adult life. So um for me, we talking about in the 80s, way back in the 80s. Now I had a summer job. I loved it. I did it for like 2 years. Every time the school was out, I went and got me a summer job. Back then, we didn't have the uniform and stuff like that. We didn't have the uniform. So when I got paid, I did help my mama out. I brought my own clothes. I brought my own shoes. I brought my own paper tablet. I brought my own school supplies. And I paid for my own expenses. Back then we didn't have cell phones. But the little expenses of things, I wanted, I paid for my own expenses. So all my mom had to take care of with the other kids, and so when I got grown, had my own place, I knew about responsibility. And that's the purpose I'm trying to teach young people now, to learn the responsibility of having a job. A job is not just for you to have a summer job and just spend all your money on you. You can't do that. But we trying to learn your responsibility, and it's also I'm trying to keep kids active, yeah, and stray away from learning anything about guns, drugs, or anything. Keeping you positive, working, having some of y'all in a program, doing some positive in the summertime, and so now we're going to talk about the last issue I was talking about that we need to pay attention to. This is the last one. Let's bring the prayers in the Bible back in the school. Bibles were pulled out of the school years ago. I think in the late 90s, the Bible was pulled out of the school. Due to different religion. They have different religion. You got Catholic, you got Baptist, you got all Jehovah Witness, you got different religion of the reason why it was pulled out. So my thing is they have one God and they have one word. If you have different religion and you're on a job, you at the school, you have to keep your kind of religion in your church. And it's pray. Prayers is prayer is for everyone, not for different religion. The Bible should be one word. If you have a different religion, you have to still do that in your church. But we need the prayers, we need the Bible back in the school. You know, every morning they used to say a prayer in the morning before school starts. Look at the killing that's happening in the school. You know, we need the prayer. You need to pray in that school. You know, you need God power, God's spirit all over that school. You need the shield of God protection, you know, in that school. You know, the presence of God is in that Bible. The presence of God is in your prayers that you will do in that school in the morning time. You know, we need prayers to be said through that school in the morning time, every morning. Before school even start, before even start doing their work or anything, you know, we need to bring that back into school because the crime, the killing is coming into school. You know, we need the Bible, you know, because just like I put out material, you know, Pharaoh, you know, Moses goes to Pharaoh and he's talking about, who is your God? I don't know your God. You know, so these days you have a lot of kids, you have a lot of adults don't know God, don't know that Bible. You know, so we need to bring the prayers back in the school, you know, to have the shield of God protection, you know, among everyone that's in that school. You need the Bible back in that school because they need to learn. They need to learn something about the Bible. You know, the Bible is a guideline of living. And it ain't no such thing. They too young to know anything about the Bible. They got children Bibles these days in Walmart. You know, we need all this stuff back in the school because the crime is coming in the school. The killing is coming in the school. You know, we need prayers. You know, we need God's spirit all over that school. You need the shield of protection of God in that school to protect these children, protect these teachers. You know, they have wonderful teachers because a lot of these teachers is getting in front of these kids and taking that bullet. That's how much a lot of these teachers love those kids. You know, so there should be many. There are so many kids and adults that don't know God, that don't know the Bible, don't know anything about the Bible. You know, this is a good way to learn these kids at a young age. You know, and do all this in the morning time. You know, before anything gets started. You know, that way anything try to enter into that school, the power of God's spirit, God will intervene. You know, so you'll want to have God prayers to God. You know, so the prayers in the Bible need to be placed back in the school, and I request for the Bibles, you know, and prayers to be back in the school. Pray all over that school early in the morning. Have that school covered with the blood of Jesus all over that school. You know, they need to know God and need to know their word. You know, so Bibles and prayers, you know, prayers need to be said in the morning before you get anything started. You know, all school needs to be covered, you know, with the shield of God protection. You know, killing or entering into our school. You know, prayers is the only way these kids and teachers will be protected. You know, pay attention, you know, to these issues that I just talked about. Pay attention to these issues I just talked about. Talk about 4 issues of today. Talk about the mindset, the mental health. I talk about having some kind of program in the summertime with school out to keep them out of trouble and also learn them about the principle of life. You know, have them to write down what they want to do in life. You know, if they don't want to write it down, have them to draw it in. Or either way, you know, because a lot of kids these days they draw their feelings out. You know, and it's just another thing. Where I was talking about the parent with the depressed child. You know, and sometimes if they don't want to talk, you know, and talk and tell you what happened, tell them to draw it down. You know, a lot of times these kids know how to draw. They know how to draw how they feel. They know how to draw what happened. You know, pay attention to their drawing in their school bag. You know, because sometimes they'll draw something you might not understand, but bring to a professional. These kids will draw their feelings down. You know, what they saw or what had happened to them. So if they don't want to speak it, they'll draw it. You know, so that's what I had forgot to tell you. So we talk about the mindset of health issue. We talk about the program. to have be positive, or thinking or their future. You have them have these kids active of doing something positive in life. We talk about the principle of a summer job. It's not all about you spending money on hair and nails and expensive clothes and shoes. It's a principle of you learning to be organized for when you get grown and have your own place. You'll know what it takes to pay bills. So you learn it at a young age of being organized in the principle of life of having a job. And whatever you have left in that month, then you go shopping. Nobody not saying don't go shopping, don't do this, do that. For being organized, of paying your bills, and then you go shopping. And the fourth one we talk about, the prayers, bring the prayers in the Bible back into the school. So these are the four issues we talk about that we need to pay attention to. So that way we can take care of a lot of mental health while they're young. You know, it won't it'll help the world a whole lot because a lot of mental health persons these days, they're not the only ones doing crime. You know, but these days they've been going to jail. They've been the one person purchasing guns and doing a lot of killing. The person did that, killed them 19 kids and that one teacher. They said he had mental health. So a lot of time, if we could catch this at a young age, we could prevent a person like that from killing someone else or either harming themselves. So these are the issues was on my mind to bring out, to bring y'all to your attention. The issues that we need to pay attention to. So my name is Irma J, a spiritual divide. This is a new year and this is a new me. No guns and no killing. I'm gonna keep on trying to create something to make this world better. So that's all I have for you on today. And every day I'm gonna try to create something to make this world better. So these are the main issues that we need to pay attention to. Because a lot of stuff that we done went through last year in 2022, a lot of people, anxiety, mental health, everything had came forward, to a lot of people that had to deal with so much hard, difficult times, so in a lot of time, mental health don't mean a person is crazy. Like I say, some people done went through so much last year. Anxiety mean you went through so much, you was overwhelmed. And then you have anxiety. Mental health is when you're always thinking about harming someone. Or killing someone, or thinking about suicide and all that kind of stuff. That's mental health that needs to be taken care of. So you won't harm yourself or harm no one else. So that's all the news I have for you on today. And I'll see y'all on the next video. Y'all have a blessed day.